Well, so what happened is that, and this was confirmed in the Finance Committee, is that the government, I believe it was the Department of Environment, gave the PBO its own economic analysis of the carbon tax, and the PBO used the government's own analysis to inform its own report. But now what is breaking news in the Finance Committee is that apparently the government has put some sort of gag order on the PBO, saying that the PBO cannot release the Department of Environment's own analysis on the economic cost of the carbon tax. So, I mean, par for the course with the lack of transparency, unfortunately, coming from this government. I think I'll just state the obvious. Taxpayers paid for that analysis to be done within the Department of Environment. We sure have the right to see what those economic costs are.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't supposed to be an internal study, but I guess they just didn't like the outcome. So if they don't like the outcome, they say, well, we'd just rather not let people know. I mean, how much longer can they keep the lid on this bottle? Canadians realized, I mean, the Prime Minister got booed by mayors in Canada when he tried to make that claim that, you know, most people are benefiting from the carbon tax. They're really willing to die on this hill, aren't they?
Well, nobody believes them. That's the bright spot here, is that Canadians don't believe what the Trudeau government is trying to spin us on the carbon tax. I mean, Corey, come on, man. Like, if you actually think the government can impose a tax, then charge its sales tax on top of the tax, then skim hundreds of millions of dollars off the top to pay for bureaucrats to administer the tax, and somehow make you better off with rebates, then I've got some Ocean View property to sell you, Corey, in Lethbridge.
Yeah, well, I think we're kind of already buying it, but we're doing it through our taxes and we don't get to enjoy it. So moving on beyond that, though, I mean, there was the capital gains tax that's been formally entrenched by Parliament yesterday, was it?
Well, so what happened is essentially is that Parliament voted on the motion. To their credit, Mr. Poilievre and the Conservative Party, they voted against Trudeau's capital gains tax hike. So they decided to stick up for taxpayers and fight the capital gains tax increase. That is the good news. The bad news is that the motion passed because the Liberals, the NDP, and the Bloc supported the capital gains tax hike. Now, folks, this is such a disastrous tax. It's going to impact a lot of Canadians. You've already heard the doctors warning about this, how they're going to be impacted. You have many small businesses that are going to be impacted by this. People preparing for the retirement are going to be impacted by this. And also, too, like, this capital gains tax hike, it's going to discourage that young, smart tech entrepreneur who just graduated from a computer science degree. It's going to discourage that young individual from setting up shop in Canada, maybe producing the next Amazon here in Canada. And instead, this capital gains tax hike is going to push entrepreneurs like that to leave Canada and to take their investment dollars and jobs with them.
Well, that's it. There's some of the real misinformation coming out of, I would say, you know, Chrystia Freeland the other day speaking, and the messaging they're putting out, which I still don't care for with those, the class warfare and the politics of envy. But hey, we're just taking a little more from the ultra rich. But the reality is we have over, I think 300,000 incorporated businesses, most of them small and medium sized. They're getting hit by this, every one of them. And that's going to cost us in the end. It always does.
Well, and Corey, it only takes you 2 seconds to really think about the government's spin to see right through it. I mean, first of all, if the government wants the rich to pay more, how about the government just makes rich multinational corporations pay for their own factories?